So there's a whole lot happening in this government of Enugu State, that is, and you must have seen some luxurious boxes coming into town. I mean, it was all over social media a few days ago, and we saw more than 100 buses, that have come into Enugu, and we're hearing that that may be launched pretty soon, and that is part of the initiative by this government to wade into the transport costs for the people of Enugu State and maybe beyond. We have someone in the studio who would give us an insight into that and even much more. Prince Ejeh Josh is a special assistant to Enugu State Governor's Research and Publication. Good to have you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Shaz.
How do you do?
I'm feeling okay this morning.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So just tell us what this is about. I mean, we know we heard the rumor, and then the next thing we started hearing this thing from person to person. Then the next thing the boss came. What is the plan really for this luxurious CNG?
Yes, thank you, Shaz. Yeah, this is not new. There's nothing happening in Enugu State today under the administration of Governor Peter Mba that is new and that is not contained in the manifesto. That is the statement of purpose that the governor presented during electionary campaign. So he's following the imprint in that statement of purpose. So, and one of the promises of the administration was to remodel and transform the transportation system for the benefit of the people of Enugu State. Now, remodeling the transport system means that the enabling infrastructure must be there. And as a prelude to these compressed natural gases and co, you see that massive roads construction and reconstruction have been done and are still ongoing in the state, so that when the rollout of these these CNG buses are made, they have the infrastructure to accommodate them. And again, in 2024, if you recall the statement of the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Shidibere Onya, and the Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Obiozo, during an ESCO briefing, where the ESCO also approved the procurement of these CNG buses to Enugu State. And the motive behind that is that it makes transport system seamless and affordable to the people of Enugu State. And do not forget that immediately the president was sworn in, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he made a consequential announcement that fuel subsidy was over. And you could remember that there was a time Nigerians bought a liter of fuel over 1,000 naira. So, and in order to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal, Governor Peter Mba had to think outside the box. And that was why we saw the timely intervention of the administration by rolling out these CNG buses. And of course, the terminal stations, the one we have at Nsukka, already 100% completed and waiting commissioning. With the ones we have at Ababa, the one at Gariki, and the modern terminal stations at Oligos. So all these are geared towards the arrival of these CNG buses. And true to his promise, these CNG buses, the first batch has actually arrived. So, and it is a game-changing moment for the people of Enugu State, because it's going to make transportation easy for them. Just like what we are seeing in developed worlds, when you get to United States of America, you get to United Kingdom, when you get to Russia and other countries that are developed, you see how seamless their transport model is. And that is what the governor is bringing to Enugu State. If you are driving your car, gasoline-driven or fuel-driven car, that you will actually pack it as soon as this one is launched, because you want to enjoy the
Absolutely.
dividend of what Governor Pitamba has brought to Enugu State.
Absolutely. But again, another question would be, this is CNG enabled, right?
Yes.
So we understand that we should have a CNG station in order to be filling it up. Do we have a CNG station in Enugu right now?
Absolutely. And part of the ESCO briefing was the announcement of the partnership of Enugu State government with a Greenville company that deals with filling station, deals with oil and gas. Okay. So, and when you get to Ugu Onyama, you would Ugu Onyama there at close to 9th mile, you will see that they've actually constructed a modern CNG station. And of course, there are ongoing constructions of daughter CNG stations where you can, just like a filling stations, where you can easily refill your buses. So, and that was why I said earlier that in order to enable these CNG buses, and of course we're also expecting other smaller vehicles like electric taxis and CNG taxis, so that will actually run through the streets and co. So in order to enable this, the infrastructure must be there, and the governor actually made that plan. So the infrastructure is already there. We won't have any issue about this compressed natural gas.
Okay. Because again, people would ask, if a CNG, how do they do a refill? Now that you explained it, are they going to be rolled out at the same time? At what time is this buses going to be rolled out officially? The Ogoyama, I understand that it's still under construction. Is it going to be fast-tracked, or is it still being under construction? Like, what's the time lag, for instance?
Of course, it's been fast-tracked, and I think we have some CNG daughter stations already
operating
in the state. Yes, where you can and that's why you know that we have trucks that are CNG enabled. So, and that is the focus of this administration. You don't just go to other states when you are passing through Enugu and you're saying that Enugu does not have those infrastructure. We want to have those infrastructure on ground. So we've got some working. And in terms of the launch of these CNG buses, very soon, in as much as some of them have arrived. So we are just waiting. Any moment they will be. And of course, what happens is that they are coming in badges. Okay. Yes. So we've got the first badge. We're expecting the second badge. The good thing too is that we're expecting, because it's going to be private sector enabled. So it's not government is providing. Yes, what Enugu State government is doing is that it is providing the enabling environment, the business environment for all this to thrive. You know, de-risking investment flow. So that if you are coming in, the government can actually partner with you. You know, it's been said that government is actually a bad manager of
resources.
Yes, of resources. Well, experience or history had actually shown that over time, especially in Nigeria, and you know where Governor Pitamba came from private sector, and he understood. He had worked before as chief of staff in Enugu State, as commissioner for finance. So, and he's also played a major role in the private sector. In fact, it's a big wig when it comes to private sector. Now, he understands and appreciates what it means for government to run business and what it also means to attract private investment. Enugu State had been seen over time, or over the years, as a public or civil service state, and the economy depends solely on civil service. So, but when the governor came, he said, for the economy to move from $4.4 billion to $30 billion, actually it's weird. It's uncanny, you know? Now, many people are saying that how would this happen? But he came up with that disruptive innovation. I mean, we call it a paradigm shift by creating the environment, de-risking investment flow, and attracting investors. The state is always more than willing to partner with investors to drive all this. And, to build investors' confidence, you must have those enabling infrastructure or environment. So that is what's happening. These CNG buses are going to be driven by private investors. And again, let me say this. Other CNG buses that were open to have in Enugu State will be assembled here. So
really?
because yes, and that is there is going to be, or there are going to be assembly plants, because we're expecting more of these investors from different countries, and these assembly plants where these CNG buses and taxis are either made or assembled, they can now supply other Southeast states and other parts of Nigeria. That is the target of this administration. And the governor has done it in the agricultural space. Take, for instance, the state government received delivery of 100 tractors, awaiting another 100, but the remaining 800 tractors will be assembled here in Enugu. And the assembly plant is almost completed. So this will actually create jobs, for the youth. And not only create jobs for the youth, we're also talking about in development space, we talk about knowledge transfer or technology transfer. So our people, this knowledge can now be domiciled here with our people. So in terms of the maintenance culture, our people can take charge. In terms of also building a local plant, where so our people, with that knowledge transfer, our people can actually start up something.
Okay, so if it's a private sector driven partnership, it then looks like it might not be as cheap as we thought that it's going to be.
Definitely it's going to be, because let's say, for instance, what this CNG means, compressed natural gas. The compressed natural gas is actually more affordable than the normal fossil fuel, like petrol, like diesel. Okay. So more cheaper than that when you do the comparison. And not only that, those vehicles running on CNG are cheaper to maintain. Yes, you have to do your research on why these buses, CNG buses and taxis are game changers in the country, and why many countries are moving away from fossil fuel driven vehicles to CNG driven or enabled vehicles. So it's because of the advantage it has, the CNG has over other fuel. So it's going to be cheaper. Okay. And why is going to be private enabled? It's the maintenance caution. Yeah. If you recall, that years back we had these luxurious buses, these coastal buses that shuttle or run on intracity basis. And the question is, where are they today?
Nowhere.
Where are they? So they're nowhere to be found. And what this administration of Governor Peter Mbai is doing is to build that institution that are irreversible. You won't be able to reverse. If the administration is going out, I mean, after it's out, serves its tenure, can easily hand over a working system to the incoming administration, a working institution. So it will be that the incoming administration will start afresh, start laying the foundation and go. No, the government is setting up a foundation. And it is only private sector all over the world that drive economy to that growth that we want, $4.4 billion to $30 billion. So take instance again, all those developed countries. Even look at this Rwanda. We're talking about Rwanda is becoming the envy of Africa. Look at South Africa too, becoming the envy of giants of Africa. Their economies are being driven by private sector. So that is what the governor Peter Mbai is doing. Enugu State is going to be the microcosm for other states to emulate. So when the governor, in fact, other states are emulating the Enugu State now, reaching out to Enugu State. How are you doing this? We want to learn from you.
True. So the next phase of this discussion will be about the fear that comes with the this 300 buses that will be eventually get on the road. Because again, I know since it's going to be cheaper, what we have in terms of other transportation means, the minibuses, the keke, run on fuel. So people are scared that they're going to lose jobs. There are also rumors about the banning of these vehicles from our city. Maybe some say they will be restricted to some areas. So is the government also looking in that direction? If people who know that the buses are cheap and then they follow the buses, it means that the guys who drive on mini buses and keke will be totally be out of jobs.
Thank you for this question. Let me reassure the people of Enugu State that nobody is going to lose any job. But an economy thrives on competition, right? An economy thrives on competition. So any economy that does not compete internally, we soon witness entropy, implosion. So, and you know what, like I said earlier, what this administration is doing is for the people of Enugu State. The people of Enugu State gave their mandate to Governor Peter Mbai. And Governor Peter Mbai is only answerable to them by making their day-to-day living meaningful, affordable, raising their standard of living, So, and again, it's just like when the governor commissioned in, I think, November 25, 2023, when the governor commissioned the water program or water project at 9th Mile, the state started producing 120 million liters a day. So most of these tanker drivers were, afraid about losing their jobs. And governor said no, that none of them was going to lose their job. They should have to be creative. They should have to think outside the box. So, and that is the messaging to these keke riders and bus drivers that depend on fuel. They have to think creatively and think outside the box. The joy of every thriving economy is a competition. So nobody is going to be, and again, let me also say this, the governor is trying to create jobs. So you won't see maybe the governor trying to create jobs and at the same time trying to push other people out of, no. Want to create enough job, even get more people coming to Enugu to come and take a job. Now, remember that we still have more employment to be made, right? Because the 260 smart schools in the states, they will also have these CNG buses.
Oh,
yes,
really?
That is the plan of the governor. In fact, if you get to the pilot, the Owo campus of the Smart Green School, you see that it has, I think, 1 or 2 coasters, for the school. So the governor has a huge plan for education, and some drivers who feel that they are no longer, they are becoming redundant, maybe because of the transport structure, the affordability of the CNG buses, can be trained and absorbed into the system. And again, the over 2,000 taxis that are going to be rolled out.
Oh, really?
Also, yes.
On taxes.
Over that. The governor has promised that taxes are coming to, I don't know, there is this electric vehicle trending recently.
Yes.
Actually, people have been trending that about, so it's just an insight of what is going to happen. So more jobs, thousands of jobs are going to be created. So they don't need to be afraid. You know, they don't need to be afraid of anything.
Okay, so is it true that keke and minibuses will be banned eventually?
No, keke and mini buses are not going to be. In fact, there is no plan to ban keke and mini buses by the state government. Okay. But again, you know, the government is remodeling and restructuring the transport sector. So, and we have trunk A route, trunk B, C, and co. So now what happened is that with the remodeling of the transport infrastructure project, TIP, so keke may ply on certain routes, CNG on certain routes, or taxis on certain routes. So this does not pose threats, you know,
to the business of the
to business of keke and mini buses.
Okay, so they'll be restricted to some routes.
When you if you travel to United States of America, or even say Russia too, because Australia, just measure, you see how the transport system works. The transport systems are. So that is what the governor is bringing down to Enugu. There is going to be sanity in this transport system. So when you are going to maybe from this place to Independence Layout, you know that this is the vehicle you are going to board. You know, when you are flying inside the street, you know, okay, this I'm going to board keke from. So everything is going to be streamlined. Okay. So there is no need keke riders or bus drivers being afraid. No. Governor has assured that they are not going to lose their jobs, but again, they have to be creative, you know, in the way they do something, because we also need them. They are people, and we want them to thrive so that they can bring, take food to their family. So if they are banned, where would they go to? So there is no plan to ban them, but again, there is a restructuring on ground whereby each of those vehicular system will know where they will ply. Like, take for instance, when these Okada guys now, you see that they have their own routes. Yeah. You know, they operate somewhere. When you get to 9th Mile, you see them. When you get to my village, you see them. When you get to some part of Emene, you know, you see them.
Interesting. I would have actually loved to talk about so many other things, especially as it concerns the transport, but because of time, we have to leave it here. Maybe on another day, we're going to talk about Enugu Air. Some people have been complaining about the fact that why didn't the state government patronize Innocent for this kind of CNG buses? Because Innocent produces these kinds of buses. Why do they have to import, you know, that kind of thing? So I don't think we have much time. My producers have been saying that we have just 2 minutes. I don't know if you can speak to that. Just if you have 1 minute to just wrap up.
Okay, thank you. You know, the administration of Governor Pitamba, let me make it very clear, believes in local content. Because when you look at almost all the projects that this administration is doing, most are driven by local content, local contractors, and because this is how you empower your people. And again, the CNG buses, yes, the administration had actually patronized Innocent before, but you also look at we are talking about competition. You don't, you know, there is no economy that will thrive on monopoly.
Absolutely.
Well, yes, and that is one of the problems we wanted to have recently in the oil sector. Yes, when a few people wanted to monopolize the market. The market should be open up for competition. So if you know that you can survive, you play on. You bring your price, the other people bring their prices, and they compare notes, right? And people who are bringing this investment into Enugu State are also local people, you know. So we don't throw them out. because of emotion. The state has patronized Innocent and also patronizing other people. People who are working with these bosses are our people, right?
Absolutely.
So they are our people. We also have to patronize them if their prices are good and if they give us offer that you don't say maybe you are selling 1 million naira and we are getting 200,000 naira, the same product. So because of emotion, we go for that of 1 million naira. No, we are talking about a competition. So give us the best and we patronize you. And we'll be patronizing Innocent. When you also look at some of the security vehicles, you see Innocent, right?
Signature TV, news in your pocket.